From the great halls of their house, there are assembled three who hope to one day be the world's greatest driving heroes. Created from the cosmic legends of the universe comes our team captain, the Vision, Bill Fisher. Their soon-to-be Wonder Woman, Vicki Fisher. Our Captain Marvel and head flight trainee, Jennifer Skripchuk. And our Batman, the master of tools, gadgets, and all things mechanical, our mild-mannered soon-to-be billionaire, Alan Danvers. Their mission, to fight injustice, share what is right and wrong, to get you out of your house and come out racing with them, and serve all mankind. They are the Garage Heroes in Training Team.
Captain's Log Supplemental.
Miss Vicki.
Yes, sir.
You know what?
What?
I've been thinking about this Sentinel system.
Yeah. Tell me about the Sentinel system.
So what I was thinking was, we have the one car that's got the aim dash that's slowing us down. Because installing the aim dash is actually, it probably is easy, but it's quite hard the first time. And we haven't figured that out yet. The Sentinel system is really easy to set up. So what I was thinking was, why don't we put it in the Lemons car? And we'll worry about the aim data information separately. And we'll kind of break it down into a project. Because then we'd have the motorsports video system that we really, really want, and we'd be able to stream it. We just won't have the data inside, but we have the data outside, so we can combine them later. But I think that's a really good solution.
So what does this Sentinel system do?
Well, if it had the aim data, it would have all the data on the screen, and you could see all their telemetry and everything live. But we'd be able to not only record it for viewing after the race, but we could actually watch our car during the race.
Ooh, like on the monitor and everything?
On a monitor, if you were at home and I was at a track, or if you were at the track and I was at home, depends on who gets the short straw, but we'd be able to watch each other.
It's something I've always wanted to do.
And you know what? If you're driving, you know what you can do on the Sentinel system?
What's that?
You can communicate to me with your hands, and I can't do a thing about it.
Even better.
So, if you need to give a wave or a jersey wave, whatever you need, we could save it and see it on the screen. And then you can have up to 3 different cameras, and it'll have picture in picture. You'll have the basic main shot out the front window, and then 2 cameras where you put them wherever you want. One could be on the driver, or one could be on the rear view. It's kind of cool.
Then we can upload it onto YouTube.
We could bore millions of people on YouTube.
I love it.
All right. Very well. You know what the only downside I see about this?
What?
Your mom and my mom are going to be panic-stricken the entire weekend watching this thing to see if everything's going well.
This is true.
We probably shouldn't tell them.
I like the idea of having a Sentinel.
Mm-hmm. Well, luckily we have maybe 2. Depends on how things go. We're going to try. All right. That sounds like a plan. That's the project. We got to get that ready for the next race.
Sounds great.
All right. Very well. Thank you, ma'am. This is Lois Lane reporting in for live from Dominating with Dawson. Dominating with Dawson. Dominating with Dawson. I need some Dominating with Dawson.
Yeah, he's here.
Man. Yeah, I saw that guy around. He was skulking somewhere around the garage door recently. Let me see if I can rustle him up.
Last time I saw him, he was sitting in front of a refrigerator. Of course, that's every time I see him, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Dawson, we have a question that Miss Vicki was tearing up her hands about for several different times, trying to get this just right, and it's kind of important. It goes back to our world famous bench seat story time.
Yeah, I got you. I remember that. Tyler question, right?
Yeah, I think it might have been. No, Tyler wrote in with an answer. I don't think it was originated Tyler question, but she wanted to talk to you about the importance and some tips and tricks and I don't know what else about seat fitment and seat adjustment.
Gotcha. Fitment, like where do you put it in the car?
Well,
like how does it
to
fit?
the driver?
What would you be willing to do to the car to make it fit? That kind of question.
Well, it's got to fit the car and it's got to fit the driver.
Sure,
And
sure.
you know what? When racing, you have to deal with different sizes of people.
It's true.
I'm right here.
I got I got stuff to say about that. Like my very first experience with racing seats was when I first started racing karts, and you get just this what's it called? Fiberglass. You got a fiberglass seat. You're just sitting in a hard fiberglass seat that's bolted to the chassis of the cart. And I didn't realize I was kind of having to twist my hips to get down into the seat. But I'm also like, well, it's a racing seat. It's probably supposed to be tight. It's supposed to kind of hold me in. But I would come home after every race weekend with bruises on my hips from the seat being too tight. I just didn't know I was sitting in the wrong kind of seat. My wife was eventually like, try a different size seat because I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to be getting beat like somebody's hitting you with baseball bats every time you race. So I eventually got the right seat and I was comfortable and was in the right size thing. So yeah, having the right size seat can be important to your physical comfort and safety, as I learned by getting the crap beat out of me by my first racing seat. And there are things you can do to make it work when you put your racing car seat in. You know, if you're going to have a wide range of drivers who range in different, sizes from height to girth of the driver. Some drivers might be the same height, but one guy's got long legs and one guy's got a long torso, and then the same size seat is not even going to work for two drivers who are the same exact height. Does that make sense? I mean, there used to be a lot of
yeah, it does.
For a lot of the kind of stuff we're talking about, we're not just talking about placing a seat in the perfect position for the one person who's going to drive this car. But if you do that, ideally, I would say you want to place the seat in relation to your steering wheel where your arms can be steering and relaxed. You don't want to have your arms locked out straight. You want to put your seat somewhere where your arms are flexed and comfortable, and you can drive in a comfortable position. If you just set the seat up for yourself and you want to make sure that your feet reach the pedals in a way that you want to interface with the pedals. And sometimes when you're mounting your seat, is a chance to have a little bit of effect on that, especially if you're drilling your own holes in the bottom of the seat for the first time. That sort of thing. You can kind of customize that a little bit. And you might be able to customize the position of where you are by using a big seat mounting plate that mounts to the car. And then you got a lot of options for where the seat actually sits. If you're hard mounting the seat to the car, I think there's a lot of, am I right? Aren't there a lot of options where you kind of get a bunch of holes in your seat mount and kind of put the seat exactly where you want it? So that's the kind of thing you think about if you're placing the seat exactly produced yourself. But that's not what we're doing for most of the time, right?
Well,
so we talked about
teams, right?
So we're going to usually be trying to talk about a compromise setup. But what's the topic? We're talking about the seat fitment, which is the fitment to your body. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Both.
Well,
and then in the car. What was the other part? It's fitment and something else, right?
Adjustment.
Yeah. Whether we're able to adjust it. I think everybody knows my thoughts about having a seat on sliders or having a seat that the position is adjustable on. I'll repeat it though because I love getting up on my soapbox. But if I have a choice, I would rather have the seat stay hard mounted to the car and have the drivers of various sizes do whatever they need to do to adapt. Because I think the seat is safer if it's not on sliders. Sliders are just kind of one more thing that could fail in a big impact and have you not be located where you're supposed to be or something else that you can just fail completely up out of the seat. I think we've seen instances of those failing recently. And if I had a choice, I'd rather drive with my knees in my chest. I don't mind driving in a compromised body position as long as the core of my body is safely mounted to the car. You know what I mean? And
you can get in and out.
And as long as egress is okay, of course. But I don't mind driving in a more cramped position to be mounted safer in the car. And that's my position. And for a taller driver like myself, that's usually going to be the compromise. For me, for a driver who might be shorter than the average person who the seat's set up for, in a case with no sliders, you might need to have a foam insert you can get. There's ways to safely get this insert stuff that you can buy. And there's ways to mold it around yourself and so it fits your back perfectly. It's like your seat insert, but you'll see folks up and down the pit wall at endurance events. And you'll see them getting out of the car. You'll see some of the shorter guys run around to get in the car holding their seat insert. So, just different ways to cope up and make it work if you've got a seat that's hard mounted. If you want to do sliders, it's your life. But that's my position on the adjustability. I'd rather have the drivers adjust to where the seat is if possible than move the seat.
True. Miss Vicki, you're our seat fitting expert.
Yeah. Seats, I have to say, seats are probably one of the worst things I hate to work on in the car. If I can avoid,
it's frustrating. So
Oh my
frustrating.
God, it really is
It
because it's a
takes
lot of,
so long.
oh my gosh, it's a lot of
But you got to
ins.
get it right. You got to get it
You
right, right?
do. You do. For safety reasons, yes, you do have to get it. You get it right. And then honestly, what you have to do, if your seat does not still fit well, and of course the style of the car, say for instance, like the Miata, there are ways that you can actually lower the floors to make more accommodation. That is
Yeah,
the thing that does happen. There's
we beat
also
we beat the humps and the floor down in my Miata immediately. Like first race bucket I ever put in there. My dad and I were like, bam,
right,
bam, bam. Like we beat those humps down. I mean, we left the threads alone, but yeah, we have modified it immediately. But there's also you can buy drop floor kits, so we cut the floor
right,
out of the Miata and dropped it
Yep.
even further.
So
you know,
we went to a place looking at Miatas because Vicki had one and liked them. And I was saying how I really liked the Miata. I just can't fit in it. So I got in this one car that they had there, and it was made for a driver who was 6'8". And it's an NB Miata. It had all the tricks. It had the 3-inch floor drop, had, a couple other things. And when I'm 6'1", so when I sat in the seat, which it was a fixed seat, so that was another trick they did to get a 6'8" person in there. But when I sat in the seat, my eye line was even with the top of the steering wheel. Like,
oh,
it was
it
crazy low.
he was so happy. He was unbelievably happy that was even we didn't even know that was a possibility at the time.
Oh yeah.
So the other thing that you could do is to make clearance. Is that another thing that we had seen was somebody had actually made the roll bar behind the seat concaved to fit the seat itself.
The harness bar.
The harness bar, yes. They
Oh, yeah.
actually bowed that. That is an option too to give more leeway in your car for the seats. And of course, we already talked about the foam inserts. Foam inserts come in different ideas and different styles. I mean, we've seen them, and I'm not sure how safe it is.
They're fine. There's different chemistries, and they can be custom made to fit your body.
Right.
There's a limit, though. You don't want the foam
Right.
insert to have you outside the seat.
Right.
You still should be in the seat. So
yes,
it's only so much that can be done. You don't want the belts not going through the holes, or
yes,
your hips need to be not on a belt seat. So
yeah, this became a serious issue with us after Jennifer broke 2 ribs, because she was not properly fitted in the seat, and for her, because we have different sizes of people at that point in time too.
She was loose in there, right? Wasn't she kind of flapping around in there? Was I wrong about that?
I don't think I think the seat was too wide for her, and I think she might have been sitting too. Yeah, so she still, Jennifer's the smallest one in our group, and so she kind of flopped around a little bit too much, and when she hit really hard. And at that point, we went out and got the custom seat. We haven't broken them all down. Jennifer has one, but everybody else fits into the seat for that. But
you're next, by the way.
Yeah, but I fit in the seat fine.
Yeah, that's what Jennifer said too.
Yeah, but it all, when you kind of go to the situation when you have a 6'3" guy all the way down to, and different widths and lengths of people all the way down to, like 130-pound person. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot to fit in a car, so take that very, very seriously when you're out there, looking at it.
So we had a car. This is a little bit of story time. We had a car that was set up for Jennifer and Vicki on the short side, and my son and a friend of ours, Brad, who used to race with us, on the tall side. They were kind of 6'2", 6'3" kind of people. And we had our first ever ladies race. We had Vicki and Jen were now the tall side, and our shortest driver was in the lower 5-foot range.
Yeah.
And
that was tricky.
And it took us 5 hours just to adjust the seat so that everybody was comfortable. And the biggest take home I got from that was that Vicki and Jennifer were in a position where they they were both saying they could finally see out of the car.
Yeah.
Wow, that's important.
Because they were too low, they weren't able to see the edges of the car. They were looking out, but kind of looking out upwards, not.
And you know what? Our person that was in the lower 5 range, 5 foot range, she still struggled with that pedal.
Yeah.
Because
7-8 inches is about the limit. You can
yeah, it was pretty tough, and we did a lot of finagling to get her comfortable, but she was still had a reach going.
Well, I've certainly never raced with anybody who left his lap belt loose so he could reach the clutch pedal in my car. I'll tell you that. And one.
Right. Yeah. No.
No, nobody would ever do that.
No.
That's never happened that I've heard of ever or one doing.
No.
Yeah.
No. Such crazy things.
And that's the one thing you really have to take seriously, because somebody said it really eloquently well, no, actually I said it. What am I thinking? But it resonated. Eloquent. Well, no, but it really resonated with, I'm sorry, this other person was that.
Wow.
I know.
Under the bus here.
No. Is that when you're in a car, you're not going into the car to get strapped in. You're strapping the vehicle onto you. You are becoming one with the car where you can feel everything. And once you take that in, because some people get like claustrophobic when they get into it, they start getting strapped in real tight. I mean, like you're in there really tight and they start like, oh my God, I can't breathe. I feel like too tight. Everything's too much. But you're having this vehicle strapped onto you so you can drive it. And you have to take those belts really, really seriously. And you have to make sure that, that everything is set up properly. You have to make sure that the straps in the back are wound around the bar, or sometimes, we either that or you can actually roll them up real tight and put a like a zip tie on them, just as long as they're really secured. You have to have pins also in with your hooks. There are little tiny holes in them for those of you who are building cars. There are little holes in there, and you are required to put pins in them once they are locked in so they don't pop open. And of course,
seat?
and the seat. The seat, just got to make sure it's cranked in there properly, and make sure you got to practice to get in and out and how fast you can get in and out of that car
with your helmet.
With your helmet
Hans device, because it's totally different.
It is.
That's true.
We tested our car and it was fine, and then I went in at the pit stop and it wasn't fine.
Yep.
The Hans device made a difference in my Darth helmet.
Freaking, you're right. It is a freaking Darth helmet.
That's right. So double XL, thank you very much. Lots of brain.
Big old brain.
Big old brain. So you need to be able to get in and out and plan on spending a day. Just commit the day, get some pizza, get some drinks, whatever it takes.
It's seat day.
It is. and it's not like, oh, we'll work it out when we get to the track. That is not one you're not going to do well if you do that. And the adjustment part, I understand Ben's preference. I also have the same preference. Like if it is a bill car and bill car only, that seat is fixed and mounted and perfect. If it is a team generic car that we invite tons of people in, I don't know how to get around the sliders. So we have them. We just get the good ones, the double hooks, both rails hook. And, it is one that, is it one extra interface? I guess it's one extra interface. It might be two, depends on how you define it, for failure. But, we buy the best hardware. We check it, and we reinforce anything going through types of metal with very big, very thick washers. And, nothing's perfect, but we try and make it as good as we know how.
That sounds like a pretty good approach. And I will say my prejudice against sliders gets a little bit less if you're talking about a car that's not going over 110 on the track. You know what I mean? If it's a car that's not building big speed, like I have a different opinion about a car that's going to go 150 versus a car that's going to go 110.
Yeah,
but safety
absolutely.
Yeah.
So I come off snobby about it from the get-go.
It's a safety factor.
There are
it's safer, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we could go on and on about seats. We could go on and on about seat installation, having the slope upwards. There's lots of fun things, and we could probably have 3 or 4 episodes on trouble with getting a seat to work properly. So if you guys have any more questions about seats, seat fitment, if you guys want to have a video, we're due to make another seat, custom seat insert for Miss Vicki, and if Miss Audra ever comes over here, she's due for one. So if you want to see Miss Vicki sit still for 20 minutes.
Oh my, it's not 20 minutes. It says 20 minutes. It never ends up being 20 minutes.
Anyway, if you want to see her sit still for 20 minutes, let us know. We can take a video. If you want to see her sit still for 20 minutes and whine and beg, we'll take her phone.
Don't take the phone.
God forbid I not get my TikTok in.
Take the phone.
Okay, so thanks everybody.